That's supposed to be a joke, just so you know. I'm not actually going to do anything to this desk or the next desk.
Well, I don't think you broke it the first time on purpose, right?
All the times I accidentally just put a little too much weight and it goes...
It's going to be a funny thing for people to hear at the beginning of the stream.
Yes, it is.
And we are back on the Build Phase TV, and today we are going to look at the first cards that are being revealed from the Thunderbolts set. So let's click right through, and let's get to this.
I want to see a Carnage.
Well, we're not there yet. Carnage is going to be the next set after this one, or some number of sets after this one, the next arc.
I wonder if we're going to see a Toxin.
So today's preview, I think we will see a Toxin, but today's preview is about Thunderbolts, and this is called Thundercloud. So if the name of the article being Thundercloud wasn't enough of a spoiler, we already saw Thor there on the image of the initial.
And you also kind of saw our video thing at the start. What do you call it? A thumbnail? Can't remember.
Yeah, the thumbnail here shows us Thor. So we know we're going to see a Thor. While we look at these cards, let's try to keep in mind the mentality of a new player, and this is the third set they're ever opening. Okay? Because this is supposed to be Civil Wars. You jump on, you get the Civil War battles, you get Secret Avengers, you get Thunderbolts.
And then you get Carnage.
So we can talk about these cards in terms of how we feel about them, but let's also keep in mind the goal of this expansion was to not only rope in new players, but give them exciting new tools to interact with their Civil War stuff and kind of push them along the journey of becoming more accomplished versus players.
And, of course, always give us new characters, hopefully.
So, already, I see the name of this card is the Superhuman Registration Act. And I think I said before any of these cards got revealed that I absolutely wanted to have a card called Superhuman Registration Act in this expansion. So I'm happy with that. Let's see what it does.
Let's go.
I kind of like the art here. I like the way you got the Cape Killer units descending behind these two heroes. It looks like, is that Ms. Marvel and Prowler maybe? But the Cape Killers are descending on them from behind. That's a cool dynamic piece of artwork. It's not overly focused on any one character. One of a kind. Not my favorite text in the world.
Choose an enemy supporting character with a superpower on it. Put it in its owner's hand. That's not that good.
Compared to what the anti-registration one was, the one-of-a-kind plot twist that lets you search your deck for any card you want and put it into your hand. Well, okay, any character with a superpower and put it into your hand.
I want this to not be one of a kind. I don't know why this is one of a kind.
So this is a hard removal. So this lets you get a character out of the way that you would otherwise not be able to stun, you would not be able to deal with. And if Hulkling is playable as a character, this card is certainly playable as a card. But I would much rather go into my deck and grab a character with a superpower.
It has to have a superpower. So you can't get rid of a Galactus, I don't think.
Yep, can't get rid of a Dark Phoenix, can't get rid of an Ares, can't get rid of any of the Omegas, can't get rid of Silver Surfer. So in terms of like big money plays, is the only big drop you can get rid of Thanos?
This can.
I think that might be... Oh, Sentry. This would ruin Sentry's day if anybody's playing that guy. This would ruin Namor's day because Namor has a superpower too. So it's not just Thanos. This is decent for what it is, but compared...
It shouldn't have a one of it.
Compared to what the other one does, this should put the character back in the deck.
Yes, it should.
I don't understand. Put it back in their hands so they can play it next turn? And maybe if we saw these in the reverse order, like if this came before, I can't think. Do you remember what that other card was called?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
I was looking too forward on seeing a Carnage.
But the anti-registration plot twist that is one of a kind that does a similar thing lets you search your deck for any character with a supporting power. That is so much better, so much more important, so much more powerful than what this card does. While it is true that this is just a hard, somewhat unconditional. I mean, the condition that's on it does matter. The character has to have a superpower.
Also, you need to have a...
but it's a hard removal.
Red. You have to have a pro reg.
Yeah, you have to have a pro reg guy out, but you probably don't play this unless
You're playing.
you've got a
people
decent
like Iron Man or something.
yeah, like your main character or a decent density of pro registration characters. And there are going to be combats where
This is
essential.
changer.
This could win the game for you.
But I just wish it wasn't one of a kind.
And there's going to be other times where you top deck it and you look at your opponent's Gilgamesh, Hyperion, Galactus board, and you cry because this does absolutely nothing. I think this should have put the character into the deck. I don't think it should have put it back into the owner's hand.
And I wish that it wasn't one of a kind.
I mean, the other one was one of a kind too, so I kind of get it.
Just
disappointed. I do think this card has some use cases, and in the upcoming format where your main character has to be pro-reg or anti-reg, people are going to be playing this. There are a bunch of superpower stuff on these teams, so there probably will be use cases, and it's only a one-of. So I think it will see play. But if we're comparing this to
the entire
if I'm looking at these two boxes and I'm going, ooh, I'm really hoping this box is going to have some equally exciting tools as the anti-registration team got in the Secret Avengers box.
This does not.
This is a very disappointing start.
This does not make the cut, and I'm kind of annoyed because it has good art. I like the name. I mean, I like that flavor, but it's just not good enough.
It's not even a bad effect. It's just compared to the effect on the other side of this coin, the anti-reg team got a much Maybe
they're just trying to convince us to play more Captain America.
Tranquilizer gun. Now, I do like zero cost equipment a great deal. That's awesome. The equipped character has range, and when it makes a ranged attack against an enemy character who has a superpower, you may daze that character. That's amazing. That's great.
That's good.
It costs nothing, so there's no tempo sync. It is going to cost you the one card, so that's a little bit of hand advantage, but you can still recruit on turn and just give a character range. Even if you don't get the daze part of this and you can just give a character who's not supposed to have range for free.
That's good.
That's great.
This is awesome.
If cards like hidden weapons and concealed firearms see play, and while they don't see a lot of play, they see kind of fringe play, and I have been on record many times in saying that I don't think those cards are that great. This does a very similar thing, but it does it in a more durable fashion, and it has the upside of maybe you get to declare an attack on a guy and you just get to daze him and you don't have to actually deal with combat. So this is yet another way for you to deal with a character whose stats you would not be able to honestly deal with. I don't know. What do you think?
This is an awesome card. This is going to see some play.
I like the art a lot, too.
Awesome. This is a really good card. It's 100% going to see some play. I don't know what the bad part about this card is.
I mean, just the giving range is almost good enough by itself.
It costs nothing. I mean, yes, you do need a pro reg out to play this, but who cares? It's a good equipment, and you're always probably going to play this when you have a pro reg main character or something like that. And you don't even need to spend a resource.
I mean, there may be deck builds where there's enough range in your deck already
that you aren't going to play this.
That you don't feel like the range part of this is necessary.
But even if it's not necessary, it's still really good.
It's definitely worse in a meta where people are not on superpowers. So that's something to consider. This might not be worth the card slot if you know with a fair degree of certainty that you're not going to be able to use the daze power that much. Like if it is only a zero cost give a guy range, I don't know, that still feels pretty good. Honestly, that doesn't feel that bad.
I don't think there's a place where this isn't actually a good card, but I think that there are places where you just don't put in your deck because you already have enough range. But
well, there could be deck builds where
this is just good, okay?
There aren't enough flex slots where your deck strategy requires so many cards.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that you aren't going to play.
Yeah, it might get edged out for strategy reasons from some decks, but I think the card as a card is
that's what I mean.
Maybe one of the best equipment we've seen.
Dark Phoenix doesn't end out on every deck except it ends out on a lot. And they're a good card. So good that they should be banned.
Well, this isn't like Dark Phoenix.
I'm just saying.
Let's not go there.
What I'm trying to say is that even though card isn't being played in the deck, it should also be able to be called good because it is a good card.
I think this is a playable card.
Point.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's a good card.
Okay, so we get our first main character of the box. Is Ms. Marvel. So this is Carol Danvers before she becomes Captain Marvel. So she's got the old one-piece bathing suit costume.
Which is kind of weird.
Yeah, it's not my favorite costume.
Yeah.
So she's a 3/3/6 with flight and range. Not the best stats. We have seen other main characters with 3/3 on their level 1 that have done fine, like Dark Phoenix, but Dark Phoenix does a very specific, very powerful thing.
I'm just going to say I read ahead and saw her level up, and I don't think that this card is going to be playable.
Okay, well, we'll get to the level up in a second. Energy just discharge. She has a build phase power. Put 3+1 counters on Ms. Marvel. She can only pay for this power with a blue from a location that appeared on your side this turn.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
An energy manipulator, level up 5. When a location with a blue power symbol appears on any side, or a character on any side with a blue superpower, Miss Marvel gains an XP.
I don't like that level up
I really
at
don't
all.
like this. This needs to have a overpowered payoff. Otherwise, I don't think this card is ever going to see play.
All right, so things like Nullifier or the new Kingpin are just going to hose her because she has to be able to use the blue the same turn. Now, if you get that optimal draw, where on turn 1 you play a blue, that's an XP. You flip a blue for her power, that's an XP.
And then you play
a character like, I think Lockheed isn't a 1-cost X-Men that needs a blue. I mean, that could be 3 XP in one turn. So she could conceivably level really fast, especially if your opponent's in a position where they have to help you out.
But you need the perfect hand.
Well, but if your opponent only has, say, their wild card location in their hand, they're gonna play it. They're gonna feed you that XP. You're not gonna row your 3-drop to avoid playing your wild location. Now, they might not row their Predator ship or other energy locations, but if it's between that and their wild card, I can't see somebody choosing to row a card rather than give her 1 XP. So you could maybe
let's see the payoff, because if
get
it's
1
not
from
good,
your opponent.
If the payoff's not insane good, then I don't think this card's.
I think she could level. Conceivably, she could level against a bad opponent. She could level on turn 1.
Needs a Kane to search.
Well, sure, Kane would probably need to go into this deck. What does she get at level 2? Improved energy discharge. Put 6+1 counters on her, and again, can only pay for it with a blue location that appeared on your side this turn. So you can't, and she becomes a 6/6/6. So you can't stockpile blues to later pay for this effect, which means you're gonna have to run probably Canes. You're probably gonna have to keep blues in your hand, but you can't keep them in your hand because you have to play them out to this, and if your opponent knows this is what you're driving for, if they have any kind of location disruption, they're gonna use it.
Plus Ronan, if you're trying to save him in your hand, then Ronan's gonna come out and just ruin your day. I don't think this card's good at all.
This is really awkward.
I don't like this card.
So there is a world where you play a blue location, you play a blue character, you spend 2 blues, 1 for the character you played, 1 for her, and then your opponent plays her wild, and you are leveled up before your opponent recruits a character. Which 6/6 on turn 1
it's still not good though.
Is decent. And then for the rest of the game you get to do this. But man, if the only way she's leveling up is by playing locations and then paying for energy discharge, you're going to get to level 2 and have nothing to do. These stats aren't good enough
literally
by themselves.
It's a 4 out of 60 that you're going to draw 1 blue location.
Well, 8, because you got to count the wild.
Well,
because it doesn't say that it has to be a blue location. It's a location with a blue symbol.
Yeah, but for her ability, it must be a blue location.
No, it has to be a location that appeared on your side this turn.
Go back. So, +3 with that, and yeah, that.
So wild cards will work, provided that you're playing a team that has blue on its wild, which ProReg does.
Still 8 out of 60. That means.
Wow. Well, and you can make those odds a little better with things like Kane, with some of the deck filtering options that we have. This seems like not the hardest level up in the world, but a hard level up. Her energy discharge power is needlessly awkward, I think. I mean, yeah, the payoff here to make her a 12/12 as early as maybe turn 2 is really good. But it is a long walk to get there. This seems like a tough one.
This is going to make the cut.
I think if somebody really wants to put the time in and build this character, she's not so bad that she's unplayable, but you are gonna...
but you aren't gonna pick her from choice.
So, like, I listened to Bert's show on Black Widow, and his comment was she has to work harder than everybody else in the room, and sometimes it's still not good enough. And I think that quote kind of applies here. This Ms. Marvel, this is a tough puzzle to solve, and even if you solve it and you get there and get the payoff, it might just not be good enough.
I'm gonna say this. I don't think this card makes it. I don't think that this card is good. That's that.
Yeah, the opponent should never help you. And it really I agree, Bert. At really high level play, like in top 8 of a tournament, those types of players may very well choose the line to row their 4-drop rather than row their wild card location to put you off getting your level up a turn. I think there are also going to be cases where you have to play your wild card and you have to feed her some XP, but I don't think you can count on that as the Ms. Marvel player.
I don't think that this card is good, to be honest. It's just not good.
It's a lot. She's asking an awful lot from you.
You don't pick her.
Oh, wait, before we move on to the next one, let's see if there's... Okay, so it doesn't say anything else about her. It's just introducing Zemo. Now, this was a guy I was really excited about on this one.
Yeah.
So, he's a 2/5/5 with range. Fill the ranks. Build phase. Pay a green. Put a supporting character with 1 cost from your hand onto your side. Ooh, okay. Rank and file. Level up 5. When a supporting character with cost 1 appears on your side, he gains an XP. Okay, so this is going to be a flood deck.
This guy can gain 2 XP on turn 1.
I mean...
And he also will put you ahead.
Well, more if the 1-drop... If you recruit a 1-drop, then you use this power to play another 1-drop.
Yeah, that's what
and both those 1-drops are multiple man. Then at the start of your main phase, 2 more multiple mans appear. And this does say...
multiple man was the 2 cost.
And this does say appear, not recruit. So unlike Captain America, he will be able to benefit from multiple man. I think multiple man's a 1-drop, buddy. I don't like the 2/5/5 stat line at all.
I like that he has 5 defense. I don't like that he has 5 health. That sucks.
Yeah.
It's just plain out horrible. We need 6 health.
So what do you get once you recruit 5 1-drops? And it does have to be 5 1-drops, right? Let me double check that.
It must be 1-drops.
Cost 1 appears on your side. Now, if I have the machine and I reduce the cost of all my characters to 0, and then I play them...
There's still a printed 1 cost.
Well,
so.
it doesn't say the word printed here. I think you're probably right, that the intent is for it to be... It doesn't say. Okay, well, that's a question I want to get the answer to. If the character's cost has been reduced to 0...
There's still a printed 1-drop, so technically they are legally a 1-drop, even though you just have to spend 1 less resource.
Maybe. I think you're probably right, but we should get a judge to weigh in on that to make sure.
Fill the ranks. He still has that one. And then stolen moonstones. Enemy front row supporting characters don't protect characters this turn.
Wow. Wow. So first off, the 6/7 with range at level 2 is fine. Like, I like that. That's a decent stat block.
How do I eat?
The power, this main phase superpower. So I think it's disappointing and unnecessary that stolen moonstones can't affect main characters. This would have been an excellent way to get past a big rogue and attack her back row supporting stuff. And I do think part of what they have done in this set is print a bunch of cards that are great answers to things that are too strong and kind of robbing some of the fun out of verses. And as much as I love Rogue, both as a character and as a main character, she's too good. Like, she's not fun for the person you're playing against. Sometimes she's not fun for the player playing as her because the lines are very straightforward. She is just a little bit too good. So giving ways to kind of hard check her and getting past her and smashing up her back row could be one. So let's set that aside.
I'm just going to say this. I don't even know what to say. That ability is so good. Yes,
Yeah.
I do wish it targeted main characters too. And another thing is I kind of wish that you didn't have to pay anything. I know that'd be too powerful, but just because I see this now, I feel like I kind of want it to be better. I just want to be able to not have to deal with their front row.
I don't think you should have to not pay anything for this.
I know, but...
That would be bananas.
I know, but wouldn't it be fun to just be able to hit their back row on repeat without them being able to do it?
So let's cover a couple things that this doesn't do. This doesn't turn off Safeguard. So Herbie is still going to be something that you have to deal with if you want to attack other characters in the same row as Herbie. So that
but
I don't
you can
think
still just skip the front row and hit Herbie.
Yeah, that's a fairly narrow clarification, but it is something you should think about. If you play this and you think, all my characters can hit anything, that's not entirely true. There are going to be some cases, like Danger would be another case where, or wait, how is Danger phrased? So I'm not sure about Danger, but Safeguard for sure would still get around this because Safeguard has nothing to do with protecting. This basically turns off your opposing player's ability to have flight. Mm-hmm. It doesn't turn flight off, so it wouldn't help things like characters with what's that? Aerial superiority.
Yes,
whatever
aerial
that
superiority.
It's not going to help that.
Falcon.
It's kind of like it gives everybody stealth, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's great. I think this is good.
This is a very, very good payoff that I wish had 6 health.
I think that, I don't think 6 health would have been too much to ask on this guy. His level up is entirely under your control, which I really, I'm going to move you over just a little bit, which I really, really like that your opponent really can't do that much. I mean, what are they going to do? Play, what's that Inhuman guy? Karnak. What are they going to play? Karnak?
Danger says that you can't
attack other guys in other rows if she's in front. So, okay.
Also, Castle Zemo. Oh, yeah, the Castle Zemo would work to pay for this guy's ability because it says that it can work for,
True.
It can work for characters named Zemo.
Which gives him access to more instances of, like, he's going to have 12 greens, whereas most characters would only get 8.
Yeah, he can basically have 8 wilds, but only him have 8 wilds.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Well, I mean, we have seen that type of thing before, like with Kitty Pryde Star-Lord, who's dual affiliated with X-Men and Guardians, so she has had 12 reds in her deck.
Yeah, but this card, man, it's so good. I just wish it had 5 health like I've said multiple times.
Based on Bert's clarification here, Danger will also be another corner case where Stolen Moonstones is not going to help you. You're still going to have to deal with Danger.
In the other rows, if she's in front. Yeah, but they don't protect. That doesn't mean that they turn off. He doesn't turn off the abilities of the characters in front row. Like, Danger would still prevent him from being able to hit the back row. They just don't protect the back row.
And she's not preventing it by way of... If Danger's phrasing was... all characters in the back row are considered protected while Danger is face up, this would get around that. But that is not...
I think that card was phrased the way it was because that's what all characters do.
Possibly.
Mostly. And
I think this guy's good.
I love this card.
I think he's going to see some play. I mean, we already have... And look how easy, like, Sentinels just slots right into this.
Yeah, this is...
And we already have shenanigans with, what's his name? Frank Drake. He's the 2-cost inventor, right? Whatever that low-cost inventor guy was, so you could have the machine out really early.
The Forge guy?
Forge, but not Forge. It's the other guy in that same... I think it's Frank Drake.
Yeah.
So, Zemo, I think, is going to see some play. Green Goblin.
Yay! I like seeing him more...
I like this Green Goblin costume more than most of his other costumes. Like, the little one where he has, like, the purple underwear is not my favorite. I like this. He's a 3-cost, 4/3/2 with flight. Those stats are pretty good. I like the 2 health a lot.
Formula. Heal a wound from Green Goblin and put a +1/+1 on him. It costs a green, and it's only on main phase.
I don't think I care about that power at all.
I think I just care about this card. I like this card, but that power maybe needs to be a bit better.
I mean, what deck are you going to build where you have enough surplus of greens that you're willing to commit one to making your 3-drop stick around.
I mean,
Like that, I think I would rather play a Might Makes Right. I would rather, like,
there's some
or
decks
cut
that
greens out of the deck.
There's some decks that do need characters to stick around to survive.
Sure.
Like the Grandmaster.
But with a 4-3 stat line, like, I mean, we look at Jessica Jones, who has a similar stat line, but the reason she's a good blocker is not 4-3. It's the word tough and that 3 defense. He doesn't have that. So you're going to crack him once.
Can you use that ability even if he isn't wounded just to get the +1? I mean, I don't see why you would.
Yeah, but like that's even less value. Now you're paying a whole location for 1 +1 counter.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if you could, even though I probably wouldn't.
Yeah, that would fall into the bucket as do as much as you can. If this said heal a wound from Green Goblin, if you do, he gets a +1 counter, then that wouldn't work. But it doesn't say that. You do 2 things, and failing to do one.
It makes it a bit better, but.
Like if there was a character, somehow he had an effect on him that made it so he couldn't have +1 counters, you could still pay the green and heal him.
Yes. I just wish this card was better.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, He's all right, I guess. If you're playing Iron Man, you probably want to play him because he's a low-cost guy with multi-health. But I'm not super impressed. His power is irrelevant to me.
Yeah.
And his power is actually worse than irrelevant because we're seeing cards like Superhuman Registration Act.
I just wish that this character was better, okay?
Like Tranquilizer Gun. So he is made vulnerable to these characters who can target superpower things, and his superpower kind of sucks. It's not very impressive. So this card does have some positive things going for it, but in a meta where these anti-superpower tools are all over the place.
But, you know, the thing is, if you're playing Iron Man, then you're going to use those tools too. So you can use it on them, and they are going to have to probably be playing a character on this. They're going to have to be playing Pro Reg too if they want to be able to do that, which means it's probably going to be maybe a mirror match.
Okay, well, there's anti-reg tools that target superpower characters too, and he's vulnerable to those as well. I suppose we should also say that this makes him a searchable target using the anti-reg one-of-a-kind plot twist, but holy... Really?
What?
That's how you feel about this card? You started yawning? That's...
I mean, I am bored about this card, but I've been yawning a lot today.
So to finish my thought there so we can move on, because this card is very underwhelming. He could be a searchable target for that one-of-a-kind anti-rage plot twist, but do you really want to devote that plot twist to search up this guy? I don't think so. Maybe in a deck where for some reason you have a big surplus of green locations.
I mean, this guy can be
He could be a guy that just sticks around until turn 5, 6, 7 and be annoying.
Can't this card be... You can play Green Goblin to help your Hobgoblin, I think is his name, and not pay as many resources, but why do that? They're different team affiliations, and I just don't think that this card makes it.
Yeah, I
mean, I guess I like the 2 health.
I don't think the Hobgoblin who can copy this power is a reason to run this card.
Yeah.
Nah. I'm not impressed.
I couldn't remember what Hobgoblin's stuff was.
So first of all, this guy's name is not Ragnarok. It's Chlor. It will always be Chlor. It has always been Chlor. This rebranding, I fully reject.
Wait, what? They renamed.
Yeah, Clone Thor being called Chlor was a thing comic book fans did. Marvel gave him this dumb name that I refuse to acknowledge.
Ragnarok destroyed.
This is a
Asgard.
7-cost Chlor. He has flight.
It's like Satyr.
He has flight 982. He is lethal and codename Lightning. Oh my god. I know that that's in the comic, but that sounds so dumb. Main, pay a blue, put 4 -1 counters on an enemy supporting character.
I don't like that power name. It's an okay. I like the power. It can complete... It's like the exact opposite of a Might Makes Right.
So
instead, you pay a blue, and you can basically get rid of all the +1s if they play Might Right.
It's a latent mutation.
Yes.
Same color, same effect. It has to be a supporting character, so you can't use it to clip an MC.
Latent mutation also costs another card. I like this guy's stat line.
So it's exactly the same as a latent mutation.
You also have to get rid of that latent mutation from your hand.
Sure.
And this card, you play it for 7 and you have a good stat line. It has 2 health, which I love. Thank you.
So
And,
to be clear, the lethal is not going to trigger if you stun something with the lightning. They have to be a defender, and you can't play this while attacking. The 2 health is okay, I guess. But honestly, if what I want is a 7-drop that can come down and just make stuff dead, I probably play Ares.
Yeah.
Ares has no superpowers.
Plus we have the full art.
So he can't be targeted by any of this anti-superpower stuff that we're seeing. With Ferocious and Lethal, he's probably going to kill 2 things, just like Chlor is probably going to kill 2 things. You play him, you kill something with lightning, then you attack something.
I mean, this is like...
Maybe he gets hit back and you kill 3 things.
Here's the thing I want to say. This guy is basically in the formats where... I'm pretty sure the upcoming format is where we are playing either anti-reg or pro-reg only.
But it's all good format,
This is basically the Ares for that team affiliation.
Yeah, and I guess we can't play Ares in that
upcoming format, and we can't play this guy.
Now, I will say, again, the double-edged sword of superpowers is that while this makes him vulnerable to some of the anti-superpower stuff that we've seen, he is also searchable with the anti-registration one-of-a-kind plot twist. So that he could also benefit from some of the pro-superpower stuff we've seen.
Mm-hmm. And I think this card is going to be good. But, yes, I'd rather play Ares, especially when we have that full art version.
I mean, if we're limiting it to the it's all good format, what are the other 7-drops we have to choose from? Iron Man, Captain America.
Isn't Namor?
Namor's an 8, I'm pretty sure.
I thought he was a 7.
I mean, I think I'd rather play Captain America.
I think that this is...
Although, I guess I couldn't.
Yes, because of team affiliation.
Probably, yeah. If we're assuming a pro-reg main character, then I'd be stuck on Iron Man. Do I like Iron Man better than this guy?
No, I'd rather play the Iron Man main character. I want to play the iconic character for the team affiliation, okay?
So let's think about the kind of deck where this guy would need to fit in. Probably in a modern or multiverse format, I think he gets edged out by other characters like Ares.
I want to say one more thing. So this card is an Ares that works for the Pro Reg, basically. And that thing about that is you're allowed to play loyalty plot twists if you're playing that team affiliation.
Okay,
and it
sure.
basically does a similar thing to Ares. So yes.
Again, if we're looking at a wide open, modern format, I'm not sure he's going to have a home. Yes. I think we've seen too many other higher powered 7-drops. Like, I would take Moreland's 1 less attack for his days that I don't have to pay a blue for. You know, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
But if we're looking at just the It's All Good format, and we're looking at a 7-drop that can fit anywhere, you know, Captain America and Iron Man have a requirement on your MC.
Mm-hmm.
Do we like her better? Do we like him better than the other 7-drop we saw on Anti-Reg? Was it Spider-Woman or Ms. Marvel, I think?
I think that Ms. Marvel was the better card.
Or Spider-Woman. So if you're in the It's All Good format and you're looking for a 7-drop to be aggressive with...
This is for aggro decks.
Maybe this is the guy?
This is an aggro deck character, and it's allowing you to play loyalty inside of the pro-reg decks. It's basically a Ares that's a pro-reg, and if you're playing pro-reg.
I think you have to be on a pro-reg deck where either Iron Man is your main character, so you can't play the 7-drop Iron Man, or a defensively statted 7-drop doesn't work for your deck strategy. And if you check those boxes, then this is probably the 7-drop for you. So It's All Good, can't run Iron Man 7-drop, or don't want to because you want to be aggressive. That's kind of narrow. Right? It's a little bit narrow.
It's going to see some play, and definitely going to see play inside the It's All Good format. That's 100%. I might even play it, except...
I mean, lethal is a good word. I don't disagree. You know, the flight makes the lethal better.
It's also not good. It just depends on the format.
I mean, do I play this guy instead of Mr. Fantastic? If I can pay Reds for Mr. Fantastic, I play Mr. Fantastic all day long. Like, I'd rather invent. I'd rather he gets bigger. He's got more aggressive stats. He's more to deal with defensively. But again, Chlor is a little bit more aggressive. So if you're in the It's All Good format, and
This
you want to
character
be
is the guy
aggressive
to
on
play.
7,
This guy's the guy that you're gonna go.
and you can't play Captain America.
Can't play Iron Man.
I mean, I agree. Lethal's a good word. I'm not saying lethal's a bad word.
I mean, we all know it's not a cuss.
Okay. Hope you like the first look at these. Join us next time for the last previews for the whole arc. Oh no, and this will come out July 14th. So we're only going to get 2 preview articles for this, which is whatever. I mean, this is going to be
I'm
out.
fine as long as I see a Carnage main.
So this is going to be out a week from today. I hope they make that drop date. That would be awesome. Okay, so let's go over these rapid fire style. Superhuman Registration Act, up, down, medium. I think I have to say thumbs up.
I just don't think it's good enough.
If I pretend that the anti-registration one-of-a-kind plot twist isn't so much better, this card's fine on its own.
I feel like it's a sideways.
Holding it next to the card that it's like the opposite of, it looks bad in comparison.
I just want to say, I wish it wasn't one of a kind, okay?
I don't think it needs to be.
I would do a thumbs up if it was not one of a kind.
I mean, maybe it does need to be.
So yes.
Like, potentially, I don't know.
I do it sideways. Until they make it so it's not one of a kind. Tranquilizer gun, oh yeah, definitely. Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
Thumbs up with Trank gun. Ms. Marvel, I think thumbs medium.
Yeah.
I think she's going to struggle at the competitive table, but I think this is going to be a fun puzzle to solve. It's going to be a fun main character to mess around with.
Once you can get her to work, it could probably be insane.
Well, when it pops off, as long as your opponent doesn't have anything to counter counters, which again, I'm not sure she's playable at the tournament table, but I think there's some fun puzzles to solve here.
Oh my gosh.
Zemo, I think, is legit good.
Thumbs
yeah.
up.
I think he could see play at the tournament table. I think he's going to be a fun guy to play. I'm not crazy about that 5 health, but in general, Zemo, thumbs up. Green Goblin,
in between thumbs down and thumbs sideways.
I think he's a thumbs medium. I mean, it's hard to hate on a character that has 2 health. Like we've been saying throughout this entire arc, we need more multi-health characters. Unfortunately, most of the other words on this card are
pretty horrible.
Not as exciting as 2 health. He is a flyer, which could annoy your opponent. Not very impressed with this guy. Chlor.
Thumbs up for me.
I think I'm a thumbs medium on him, leaning thumbs up.
I'm either thumbs up or in between a thumbs up and a medium.
Once I get him into a deck and I can see how often I actually have the ability to use the latent mutation on turn 7, how often that this superpower is or isn't a liability, I might end up being a little bit kinder or a little bit harsher on him. I'm kind of ambivalent right now. I think I'm a thumbs medium with Ragnarok.
I think it's either a thumbs up or in between a thumbs medium and thumbs up. Wait, what happens if we scroll?
Okay,
extra?
How do you feel about this team symbol? Thumbs up? Thumbs down?
Oh my gosh. The team symbol is just a face.
Well, we circled all the way back around to the top. So they've started loading those in. Okay, so with regard to the framing of I'm a new player, this is going to be the 3rd box I ever open. How do you feel if you put yourself, you kind of pretend yourself into those shoes?
I've been playing this for so long, but I think I'd get this for Zemo.
Yeah.
Mostly.
Just on the basis of these cards, I think this is an expansion you buy.
I just get Zemo. You know, I want Zemo. I want Tranquilizer Gun. Those are like the cards that, man, I want those. And man, this
main character, Ms. Marvel, is gonna.
She's
gonna struggle.
Once you can find out how to get her to work well, I mean, she could be so good.
We've seen main characters who want you to collect blue locations, or we've seen characters that want you to collect blue locations on your side. We've seen main characters that get experience off using blue powers. Like we've seen super awesome games sort of sniff around this concept with portions of this level up condition. Like this character keys off this part of the level. This one keys. So this is like all of this idea, this bucket of powers that key off blue locations, all rolled into one Ms. Marvel burrito, and I still think it's probably not going to get there most of the time.
I'm not buying the box for her.
But this might be one of those decks, like Singularity is a great example, where She is not competitively viable. She doesn't succeed a lot of the time, but I have had so much fun playing that deck.
And once she gets to
so much
do her
fun.
thing, it can be really fun to be able to do.
She's one of the few main characters
really good.
I've drawn my entire deck with in Versus over the years. So,
and I know, and everyone knows that you love drawing everything.
Yes, I do love drawing all the cards.
It's a known fact about him.
So I'm not sure where Ms. Marvel's home is going to be, but I am definitely going to play some games with this main character and see how she shakes out, but I don't have high hopes. Okay, so I think that's it for today's previews. I guess we will see you guys. Do they say when the next preview is? Join us probably Friday. If the expansion's coming out next Wednesday, I bet we'll see previews on Friday. So we will see you guys on Build Phase TV on Friday.
Most likely. It's not guaranteed.
Go win some games.
It might be another day.
Why are you saying it's not guaranteed?
Because I'm saying that we don't know when it's come out, but it's
if a
most
preview article
likely.
comes out on Friday, me and you are going to sit down and look at it on Friday.
Yeah, we're going to do it
All
whenever it happens. So it might not be Friday, and if it's not Friday, then we're going to do it whatever date does.
It could.
So,
I mean, it'd be next Monday if it's not Friday. So
which
all right.
that'd be a bit close.
Go